I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, May the 8th. We're sure looking at a different week this week than we had last week. Last week everybody was aggressively trying to get cattle bought, and this week it will sure be lower. The demand will be light on these big volume feeder cattle auctions here early in the week. You look at the board last week, feeder cattle especially was down really hard, just sharp losses on your feeder cattle board, and then finally live cattle went down too. Even though your spot live cattle futures are almost a $19 discount to what cash is, this time cash is probably going to have to back up to try to meet it before the June contracts come, and we still got a lot of time for that to play between now and the maturation of your live cattle June contracts. But you look at the board for last week, live cattle futures for June, 128.30, still up 428 from the big gains we saw early in the week. But your feeder cattle on the May contract ended the week at 143.77, down 578 for the week, and your August contracts at 153.42, and they were up over 160 here just a few sessions earlier than that. And these guys that have grass yearlings turned out, they're just daring feedlots to give them a bid. They would love to have a bid. These guys that are hedged on those have been taking a beating with the margin calls. A lot of them finally just run out of money and had to blow their hedges, and now they don't have any protection at all. But you're just not seeing any contracts being written for those grass yearlings, and the feedlots really want those cattle. They don't want them to get away, because those are the best performing cattle that they have all year, is those cattle that are coming off just a grass forage diet there, because that feed really tastes good to them, and they will really put it on there that time of the year, and the weather's right for feeding cattle too as you get into fall. But your cash feeders, $6 to $10 higher, which makes sense. Your real-time index on Beef Market Central ended the week at 149.05, up $8.07 from the previous week. So that 6 to 10 higher sure sounds pretty right. Your calves are $5 to $10 higher, but all that was just through Wednesday. On Thursday and Friday, things were really shook up. People were unsure what to do and didn't really know what they wanted to do, and we saw some markets come in lower. We saw some markets that were still sharply higher, and just a lot of uncertainty there late in the week. But it won't be uncertain here at the beginning of this week. It'll be a lot lower. But it gives these commission men a chance to change their tune. They're trying to get cattle into their markets and telling the people that the market's going to be better all the time. It doesn't behoove them to bring their cattle in. If they think the market's going to keep getting better, they're going to hang on to them. But this week they'll tell them this thing's going down and you better get your cattle in here while we got as much market position as we do, and it'll pull some cattle. We're expecting some pretty decent runs in your big Monday markets here today, and probably pull some cattle off graze out wheat a week or two early, because they don't want to wait around and have the market be 8 or 10 lower twice. It's bad enough to have it once, but you don't want to go through 2 weeks of big losses there, and it's sure going to be lower. It has to. We've gotten so high. Everybody wondering how come the market falls so much. Well, when it gets this high, it's got a lot of room to fall, and so it's pretty scary actually. But you look at some individual quotes there late in the week on Friday. Bluegrass Stockyards in Richmond, Kentucky, at 10 o'clock Friday morning, had 178 steers, weighed 891 at $150 even. That's almost 900 pounder, and it's still higher than what your real-time index is on an 800 pounder. Bloomington, Wisconsin at 1:30 Friday afternoon had a load of 795 pound steers, bring 171 1/4. We won't see anything like that this week. That's your feeder flash for Monday.